Hi guys, I'm hoping I'm going to be on the screen in a way where you're going to see my face and it's not like all zoomed in or weird. So I had told you guys I was going to make a video on a few things. One, about the human right to be allowed to earn money in the United States of America, because that is how we live here. In the United States of America, we use money. And if we use money and we die, if we don't have it, then we need to be allowed as a human right to earn money. So that was one. And two is some stuff about the police lying, and how much they've been lying and how much it's affected what is going on right now. So first off, I think just something really, really short. I'll just go ahead and show you guys. There is a seagull up there who is waiting for me. He's up on the, you guys can't see him up there. He's waiting for me, and I keep on trying to get him to come over, and he's not coming over right now. There are people over there who are sitting around drinking because it's a tap house, and they get to sit there with their drinks for a couple hours at a time, oftentimes, where they just sit there, mostly not even drinking their drinks, just sitting there being vegetables. And that's kind of how the lazy ass tap house type places are. Okay. But there isn't any police going up there and being like, hey, you drunk scum, get the fuck out of here, right? No, there's not. There's not. And I don't even drink alcohol, so it's not like I drink alcohol at all. But then you've got the junky ass guy that's up there with his bike that just got a laptop, so that he has been not using his laptop, sitting up there with it drunk off his ass at the flagpole on the bench for the last 5 hours, and nobody has tried to say a damn thing to him. And I doubt that they're gonna call the cops on him. And he comes often where he's someone who's always drunk off his ass. Now, a minute ago, I was over here, over where I'm gonna show you, underneath that awning right there. That black car drove up, and I could hear her talking to her dogs. By the way, she was talking to her dogs because people actually do that, and it doesn't mean they're schizophrenic. But let's go further. So she said out loud, where I could hear her, that she just thank God she just met with the prosecutor today and is getting him to agree to have me go to jail for a long time, because she's been talking to him and trying to get him to have me be in jail. Now, this is somebody who does not know me, has never had any crime happen to her, has never had me be rude to her, has never had anything happen. She just had the business that's in that space that's now vacant. It is now vacant. And so there has been several people that have slept under that awning. And I haven't seen anybody get in trouble for it, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. I've slept there now twice because I was trespassed from the library. So it's an awning to stay away from the rain and not be rained on. And I've never made a mess. I've always been 100% clean. Never left anything behind. I am usually up out of that space by 5 a.m. because I have seagulls to feed. But yeah, anyway, she apparently is saying that she's gotten away with going up to prosecutors and telling people to be put in jail over sleeping as their human right. And so if she puts another business in there and it's her, you guys should really boycott it until she leaves. I'll tell you one thing right now. Since I have not been allowed to earn money, and that's why I'm outside, is I've not been allowed to earn money. That's part of it, right? They're not allowing me to earn money, and they're smear campaigning, and they're making up mental illness and all that kind of shit. And they're wanting to put people in jail who are upstanding citizens, who have never committed crime, never been thieves, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't smoke, don't have bad habits, don't have behavior problems, have never caused any issues with people in the community, and they want to put people behind bars. It just doesn't seem like they should be doing business in this community. Other than that, we should talk about, Seagull's making sounds at me. We should talk about, the police and their huge amount of lies. So one of them is that, the police officer had made up that I was loitering when I wasn't loitering because I was working, and that's not loitering. Working online at the library, even if it's after hours, is not loitering. It never has been, it never will be. It's not loitering. Loitering is when you have no reason to be somewhere. And trespasses from the library is not something that people should be handing out lightly. They should only be handing out to people who really actually cause problems to the community, not people who are working, who are keeping places clean, who care about the environment, who care about the wildlife, who don't like crime. It shouldn't even have to be said by me, but apparently it does. So the police officer said that when he came up, instead of telling me that they were going to finally trespass me for the first time, or actually it would be technically the second time, because they trespassed me for a week once, where I got trespassed for a week, and then typically they escalate from there. Like, if you keep on causing the library problems, but you're not supposed to be trespassed if you're not causing problems, and I never caused problems. I think that they have trespassed the vast majority of able-bodied homeless from the library at this point. I went to the downtown library not long ago, and there weren't very many people there anymore. There's Seagull. There's Seagull. Are you gonna come over, Seagull? There weren't very many people over at the downtown library anymore, and I have a feeling that they've trespassed just about everybody that's poor at this point. Just handing them out like hotcakes because they think that only middle-income people should be allowed to use the library. Which is kind of not the direction that they needed to go. Because all they really needed, I had tried to tell them this for the last couple years, all they really needed to do was to get the people who are really mentally ill out, that come and sit there during all open hours doing nothing and just being mentally ill. They just come and be mentally ill, and there's no reason why they're at the library. And they didn't go that route. They just trespassed everybody who's poor. Because for one thing, the cops and the library staff, they don't really have a very good life understanding of who is mentally ill and who is not. They just know who's poor. It's pretty sick, but that's where their brains are at. They're not developed very properly for adults, and they don't seem like the type of people who have had any kind of life experience whatsoever at all. And I'm not talking about life experience as in being mentally ill or anything. I'm talking about just pure being out there and being an adult and not living at your parents' house and thinking everything gets handed to you. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't have any capacity to think like an adult. Like an adult that's had to feed themselves, clothe themselves, adjust themselves to being around other types of people while being able to learn when other types of people are a problem and when they're not. And you learn that as you go, as you get older. Like, you don't necessarily always know it when you're 20. You know what I mean? You don't always necessarily know who the mentally ill people are when you're 20. But by the time you're 40, if you've been poor your whole adult life, or some part of it, or been around poor people, and you're 40, you really start to figure it out. You start to know who is mentally ill and who isn't, and what kinds of signs there are, and all of that kind of stuff, right? You start to just see it, and you might not even be able to explain it or verbalize it to people, but you can just spot them, just like you can spot people who are addicted to meth and people who are twacked out on fentanyl and drugs. Like, you might not even be able to really necessarily say this person is doing this with their hands, but you see it and it's like, boom, that's a person that's twacked the fuck out, right? But these people who work at the library and the city and the fucking police department and shit, they don't seem to really grasp. Like, they're just not. They don't have that kind of awareness or something like that. But one of the big things I was talking about was lying. So the cop, even though I've been told for the last year or so, he said that I got trespassed a year ago, and that I've been trespassing for a year. Every single day for a year, I've been trespassing. No, because I have continuously been told that I wasn't trespassed. I've been told by city staff, I've been told by library staff, but I definitely have been told by city staff. Even at night, I've been told I could sleep there, like, several times. Nobody's had a problem with it. They've kind of tried to sweep it under the rug because they know that I am there because I don't commit crime. And so therefore, they don't have any shelters for people who don't commit crime. They don't have any shelters. They don't have any beds available. They don't have any, they don't have any, housing. They don't have any subsidized housing. All of the subsidized housing buildings have criminals in them, and meth heads and people that are severely mentally ill. I can't be around people who are severely mentally ill. So because they don't have anywhere to live available in the city that I grew up in, or this county that I grew up in, basically, because I could go into Ferndale, but they would arrest me right away, right? Because they don't have any wherewithal on what they're doing. They don't give a shit who they arrest. But it's kind of like the same situation where they just won't arrest any criminals. They won't arrest any criminals. They only arrest people that are good for the community. You know, they make up stories about the people that are good for the community, so that they can arrest you. You know, they do smear campaigns. They do giant smear campaigns so that they can arrest you. And that's kind of how things are going in Bellingham. That's like one of the big problems about Bellingham is that their refusal to arrest criminals is huge. It is huge. But they put in such huge amounts of effort into smear campaigning people to make it look like they're criminals so they can arrest you. And not look at the facts, and not look at the truth, and just completely like ignore it and act like it's not there. And if you say, I don't use drugs, and the fucking court says, yes you do, and you're like, when the hell did I ever use drugs? And give me a time and place. We don't need to, we're just gonna say you do. It's like that kind of stuff. They just make up stories, and the police have been huge on that. But like I said, he said that I was trespassed for an entire year, even though I was allowed to go to the library every day that I was around, just about every day that I was in town. How does that happen? How does that work? How does that make any sense? And then they're like, well, okay, so we're gonna have you trespass for the next couple years for no reason, because we're saying that you working online is trespassing, or you working online is loitering or whatever, so we're gonna trespass you for working online. And that's what they did at the Mount Vernon Library, and that's what they did at the Coopville Library. The Coopville Library stole my phone twice. That's why they trespassed me at the Coopville Library. They literally stole my phone twice so that they could have a reason to trespass me. And that was staff that did it. It was staff that stole it twice. $500 phone. Stole it twice. While my accounts were being gotten into. While my accounts were being broken into. So not only did they steal the phone, but they did it while these people were controlling my accounts and doing all this shit where it's obvious that they're doing shit. But anyway, are you gonna come over, Seagull? Seagull, come here. Come here. Come here, Seagull. Is he gonna come over? Here he comes. He's gonna eat the Cheerios finally. So anyway, this lady with the black car, all of these people have done everything they can, mostly based on the fact that they don't want me to be allowed to earn money, and survive and actually live and not die. So it's not a very good idea to have these people living in this town. It's not a very good idea to make them think that they should be allowed to earn money in this town if they're going to be doing this to people that didn't do anything wrong and have been a good member of society their whole life. Seagull gets Cheerios. And I was gonna talk all about like the different ways that the police have been lying lately. Okay, he's going home. I think he's going back home. There he goes.